Now, every so often in business, you hit this point where you know that something has to change. A service, an offer, a project that you've been dragging along that you need to let go of, even when you don't want to because you've invested so much time or energy and it feels risky. Well, in this episode, I want to talk about those big decisions and how to know when it's time to burn that part of your business down so that you can build something much better in its place. So, you ready? Let's jump in.
You're listening to the Equine Business Podcast. Practical business support for equine business owners. With Jenny Bush, the Equine Business Mentor.
So, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Jenny Bush, and I'm here to help you build an equine business that feels absolutely amazing and exactly what you need. So let's talk about barns that I've burnt in my business recently and how I think that can help you. Now, sometimes we get to a point in the business where there are things that we're doing and we're doing them because they feel safe. They bring in the money, but deep down, we know they're just not right. It's like every time you do them, you feel resentment. It's scary to let go of them because perhaps you, as I said, you've invested that time, that money, that effort. You've tried to build it. You've loved it. You've done everything and you've moved things forward and you know it's good, but still something just doesn't feel right. Well, I hit that in my business a couple of weeks ago and I made some big decisions. So the first was coming up with the National Equine Show. Last year, I did a magazine called Pace and Paddock. And the idea was that I was going to create this magazine. Everybody in the Equestrian Business Support Network could advertise in it. I would make this magazine and then I would give it away to visitors at the show. And I did it last year and it looked really good. I'll see if I even got a copy of it. It looked really good. Anyway, and so I did it and it looked really good and I gave away thousands of them and it worked. It looked really good. It worked really well. And I gave away thousands. And then I finished like the show last year and I was like, brilliant, I'll do it again. So I put it out there. I said, early bird deal, sign up now, get your deposit in and everything. So I'd got people lined up. I'd taken money and I had every reason on paper to do it again. But every time I thought about it, I just thought, I just don't have the energy this year. Like last year, Alan hadn't been home very long. I was still having carers 4 times a day. I was still adjusting, but I pushed through and I did it. This year, I'm just couldn't do it. And I spoke to my coach about it and she was like, oh, but it'll be so much easier this year because you've already got the plan and everything. Yeah, I mean, it was so good. You really should do it. And she was really encouraging me to do it. But I just didn't want to. And so I had a choice. Like I could chase everybody, get the rest of the money in, bring the money in, make this magazine, do it, or I can lose money and give all the money back. And I just chose, I was just going to stop it. I was just going to refund. Sometimes you just have to be true. And so everybody got their money back. I cancelled it. Was it scary? Yes. Could I easily afford to give everybody their deposits back? I mean, we're talking hundreds. I'd rather not done. But do you know what? Did feel like relief. Done completely. The second decision was last year, I added on a paid tier for the Equestrian Business Support Network where we'd have monthly networking. It was going to be amazing. And I really loved the idea of it. And when I first launched it, I got, I think 50 people joined. But every month I would show up for the networking. The attendance got lower and lower and lower. So I was like, what can I do? I'd moved the times. I gave them reasons to turn up. We did prize draws. There's all sorts, but the attendance continued to stay super low. And then it got to the point where I went to almost on the day do the networking. And I just thought, you know what? I've asked people if they're coming. I had 5 people out of 50 respond, of which only 2 said that they definitely would. And I just had to say, this is just not worth my time anymore. So again, I've closed that tier. It's no longer there. And it's a shame because I have invested a lot of time and money. I really love networking. Most of you know that I really, really I care deeply about the equine business industry. And I really feel like the networking is so super valuable. But in this current capacity, it was just not good for me or anybody else. So I'm not saying that networking is gone because it's not. I'm just going to change how I do it. So going forward, I'm just like, right, I'll do 3 networking lives a year. I'll do them free for everybody in my Facebook group. And that'll be that. The paid tier is going. I'm not going to feel like I've got to show up for these people that paid me, and they paid me not massive amount, but I feel it was an energy drain. Like thinking, oh gosh, these people are paid. I'm thinking they've paid for this. Why aren't they turning up? But at the end of the day, I had to go, this is just not worth my time. And there is a difference between fear and a real no. So I think this is something that we don't talk about often enough, but we do need to talk about. Sometimes your stomach is going to drop because you feel scared because you're stretching yourself between something that matters. So it could be something you've got in your business that, you're like, oh, I wish I didn't have to do it. because your stomach drops every time you think of it. But sometimes it's because you're genuinely pushing yourself into something that's new that you haven't done that's actually good for you. But then sometimes it is because you're pushing yourself into something that's not aligned for you at all. And you need to learn the difference between that. And it's a big part of leadership and stepping up to become the CEO of your business. So when I sat down with that magazine decision, it did not feel like nervous excitement. It felt like absolute dread. Every time I imagined working on it, there was no part of it that lit me up at all. It just felt heavy. All the design work, all the chasing for the payments, all the trying to get the ads and the copy and the images in. And it's all about recognizing when something's simply wrong for you in this moment. And for me, this is a sign that this was a genuine no. It's not just about avoiding the discomfort. It was a genuine no. I would resent this and I didn't want to resent it anymore. And the same with the paid network. I could have pushed on. I could have tried harder to market it. I could have tried people to come. I could have done even more. But the truth wasn't that but the honest truth was that it was just draining more than it was giving back. And so I had to lead. And that meant saying, those barns need to go because that frees me up space to work on the things that do light me up and the things that are going to bring the money in. So I want to ask you, what's costing you to keep the wrong barns in your business standing? That you might have your own version of that magazine and the things that you've built in your business, and they made sense once, and they do bring the money in, but now they feel like a weight. Maybe it's a product that takes loads of effort for very little return. Maybe it's somebody that you've got in the business that you're giving them mates rates on. Yeah, maybe it's like I'm thinking of some of the clients that I've had recently, and I've had to really push them to make those decisions, and they're like, "This is scary." But it's like, but when that goes, you then have space for something better, for something that is more aligned. And we often keep these things because we're worried about the money, or we're worried about letting people down, or we're worried about what other people think. But keeping that wrong barn standing has a cost. It costs you your time, it costs you your energy, it costs you your headspace, and often your confidence. And there is a time to knock it down. And there's never going to be a perfect time to knock it down. It's never going to please everybody. There's never going to be a quiet, clean window in the diary where it's going to feel easy. But at some point, you simply decide that you are going to lead and you're going to set the example and you're going to make the call. So burning part of your business down is never going to feel neat. But sometimes it's the only way to create the space for something better. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to say, this is not working for me anymore. You're allowed to choose yourself, even if other people do not fully understand it. Now, when I made those decisions, I got loads of messages going, oh, it's such a shame. I really enjoyed it. And I thought, well, that's great, but you didn't show up. So I am not going to be sitting around just waiting. And people have to understand that. And it's about you, because without you in the right place, your business is not going to thrive. And anything that causes you to feel resentment or drains your energy is not going to allow you to thrive. So if you're listening to this and you know exactly which bonds you need to burn, I would love you to journal on it. I would love you to talk to somebody that you trust about it, honestly and openly. And if you want some support from people who get it, you're welcome to come and join my free group, the Equestrian Business Support Network on Facebook, or explore my group plan, or explore the collective, which is where we go into these conversations more deeply, and I can support you in helping you to take that barn down and to build something better in its place. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. Do let me know in the comments. Do head to Instagram and send me a message at the Equine Business Mentor, and I'll see you really soon.